in the twinkling of an eye almost, but not before another full moon comes, or certainly before another full moon, we'll have the word of the bridge at Narrowwater. This man is a man of Newry, a man of the Bosco, a man of Credit Union, a man of great Newry provenance, and Brendan Jackson is the General Manager of Newry Credit Union.
I am.
How are you this morning?
Very good, Rowan, thank you.
I was interested in what you told me there. Brendan is 50.
That
The
was
Credit
off
Union
air.
is 50. The Credit Union is... I'm sorry, I let your secret out. You shouldn't do that, Rowan. But Brendan is 50. He did the half marathon as a celebration of the Credit Union being 50. And the Bosco Football Club, which you love, is 50 as well. And those three 50s make 150, and that's the lifetime of the SMAs out the road at Drummondine. And we've been watching their documentary all week on the programme. So, how was it? Was it difficult doing that marathon? Tell me about it.
Well, thankfully, Rowan, I only did the half
The
marathon.
half marathon, yeah.
I might venture into, that was my first one, so
Yeah.
I might venture into as far as the full marathon
Would
next
you?
year.
Well, how did you feel? At any point, did you feel like giving up?
No, I knew I'd finish it
Yeah.
at some stage. I just didn't know what time, or whether it'd be within 24 hours of the
And
start.
what about the regime of training that you went through before it?
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, I mean, I'm very active anyway, and but it was hard trying to get the training organised. I was more likely to be going out running at 11 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But it had to be done. I probably didn't do as much as you should have, but I got there at the end.
I would suggest to you 6 o'clock in the morning is a lovely time
Beautiful,
to run.
absolutely gorgeous.
When I was a runner, I remember, I used to love running in the rain.
Yes.
Because that sensation, it was special. And then you come in, have a shower, and you feel as though you're the king of the world.
That's right, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oddly enough, any time we were out running in our preparations for it, it rained every day. On the day after the half marathon, it was glorious. So most people were surprised by the change in weather, and it was so warm. So well.
So the celebration of 50 years of Credit Union.
Yes, thanks be to goodness. 50 years.
It only seems like yesterday.
Yeah. Well, it's strange how times pass, and I'm in the credit union now 18 years, so it's very scary that it went in so quick as well. But I mean, in 1963, a number of people got together, and they had the wisdom and the foresight at that stage to start up the credit union. And the whole principle of it was that local people would pool the resources and then lend money to each other, and that money, when it was paid back, then would become the resource for everybody else.
It was an unheard of concept in our area then. It had never been seen here before.
Yes, sir.
And a huge leap of faith, because you know, how is modest savings? How will modest savings suddenly blossom into largesse for everyone?
Yeah.
It's an incredible tale.
It is, certainly, and I mean, in the first year, they got compiled, or they gathered up £15, and by the end of the first year, when they did the accounts, they had £21. So in one full year, it increased by £6. So, and yet we're sitting at the moment with the board meeting last night. Still a voluntary ethos about the credit union, although the staff are paid, all the volunteers, the directors, supervisors, credit committee, and so forth. And we're sitting now with assets of, shares of 52 million and assets of £60 million. So it's a huge thing.
Well done to the people of
Newry. I mean, it's incredible.
Because at the beginning there was a point of view. Some people expressed the point of view, oh, don't lend them anything. The people of Newry will never ever pay you back. But there was an iconic bank manager in Newry, a man called Donovan, and he said, don't you worry, the Newry people are good people, and they will pay you back.
Yeah. And I think it's the very fact that people are given to other people in their own locality, and that sense of community is really what has driven the credit union forward, not just in Newry but throughout Ireland, throughout the world, in fact. So
it came about as at the time of great money lenders in Newry.
Right.
And I remember Goldie, the money lender, who came into our street in Derrybeg Drive.
Luckily enough, I don't.
Oh, you're blessed. You're blessed. But he was a very shiny man, a bronzed man. He used to wear gold glasses and a shining, shimmering suit, and he came in with his brown book, and his pretense was that he would take pictures. Well, he did. He took pictures, black and white pictures, and he turned them into colour and framed them for you.
Right, yes.
But that, in a sense, was the front.
Yes.
Once he got through the door, it was, do you need money?
Right,
You lend the money, and that was it. But how bad was the situation then?
Well, obviously,
those men were obviously responding to it.
Yes, they were, and it was very difficult for people to get credit other than through doorstep lenders or alternative through pawn shops. And The problem with that is that really keeps people indebted. Okay, so before you paid off one loan, you're encouraged to borrow another one, and so on and so forth. And to be honest, the same thing is still happening today, only they're much more sophisticated than Goldie coming to the door. We've got doorstep lenders in the town that are still very, very prevalent. And we also have got the likes of the money shops in the commercial centres, and they've got a front of looking very good. But if people looked at the interest rates that they're charging, it's scandalous in my opinion.
And when the person, it breaks my heart to see young couples, very often from the new Europe, our new neighbours, in there standing at the money shop counters, been given money and signing and as soon as they step out through that door, they start to spend the money's gone, and then the twinkling of an eye, the requirement to pay it back is there.
Yes, that's right, yeah. And as I say, it's very extensive things. Anybody can go onto the internet and just look at the prices, but I mean, you can be talking anywhere from 200 or 300% up to a couple of $1,000%, and the worst about it is it's all legal.
Now,
I know the Office of Fair Trade is actually, and the Financial Services Authority, which are now called the FSA, Financial Conduct Authority, they're investigating the practice, so and hopefully there'll be something done to resolve it.
It's a practice that's breaking homes and breaking families and breaking people, you know.
And of course, it's when people are most vulnerable, then that's when they're exploited, and that's what hopefully the credit union is here. Just as in 1963, we're still as relevant today as we were then.
As you were then. Yeah. And it's a 50th year. You've been doing lots of things.
We have indeed. We've been kept busy. We started off at the start of the year. We unveiled a plaque to all the volunteer directors and supervisors who were elected at annual general meeting. The reason for that was that it's very difficult. There were a lot of volunteers throughout the things, but you're always afraid of actually offending somebody. So we went back to the books, looked at who was elected by the membership at an AGM, and those men and women, their names are now proudly displayed on the in the front area in the plaque on the credit union.
But it has grown. The money has grown, but the physicality of the presence has grown as well.
That's right.
You occupy a site on Hill Street in Newry, which is from Hill Street right through to the Mall at the back of and it's a hub of industry and commerce going on. People are coming, are saving, are borrowing, signing up, all the rest of it.
Yes, that's right. And part of moving to the premises, and that was back, believe it or not, in 2002, part of that reason was to give people, because we had moved from very small premises, each time we moved roughly to better premises, and it was all about because the services that we offer now have expanded to the membership, and people need more services now because most things have been in an electronic age. It's transferring money, it's having current accounts, it's having money paid into the accounts by direct debit or standing orders, pay point, things like that. So
you're now doing that. You have a current account for people.
Yes, we're the only credit union in Ireland that has a fully functional current account, and we're very proud of that, obviously. And we've got over 500 people who are now availing of that service. So it's
and what's the difference between your current account and a current account that you would see in a bank?
I'd like to say we're better.
I'm taking that for granted. Yeah.
No, what basically we've replicated what the credit unions in England have been allowed to do, but English credit unions were sponsored. They were given money to put this thing, and we put it in out of our own resources. But we've got to tie up with a cooperative bank. So if somebody comes in and looking at an ATM card or a Visa debit card, we can provide that for them. We charge £4 per month, which we think is a very reasonable rate for that. There's no hidden charges, no things. If people actually do go overdrawn, we would charge them £15 as a thing on a fee on that. But we don't make money on that. It costs us £15. So in actual fact, we run that as a loss, but it's primarily to give our members access to the accounts, so that our whole idea is that we should become the first stop shop. And if you look at the banks and building societies, the difficulties they've got themselves into recently is because they've come too far removed from the people that they're supposed to be serving, and instead of serving them, they're exploiting them. We would like to think that because we're very local, people can see you, they can pop in, they can make an appointment, they can tell you what they think of you. That keeps it all real, you know.
It keeps it real. But it fascinates me that the people of Newry pick themselves up by their bootlaces. They created something that has grown organically and beautifully, and that you've conducted the business in a superlative fashion over the years. But it's there, the evidence is there that you've done that, you know. And so you're also overseas, because I share with people now, we've been watching the SMA African documentary all week on the programme, and your credit union people, your international foundation, reaching out to the world beyond, your people have given the SMA Fathers, our schools project in northwest Nigeria, you've given us £100,000.
That's right. Yeah.
And that has gone and is developing communities elsewhere.
Right, yeah. Which is the whole thing, because I mean, when we say the people, the initial group that got together, they had to scrape money together, okay, and everything is relative.
Yeah.
So a couple of pence pooled as a resource can have a fairly dramatic effect, and it just shows you that from very small beginnings, great things can come. And that's why the message of credit union is transferable. It's local people looking after and looking out for one another and pooling the resources. And in times gone by, people would have been able to do that with cattle or whatever else.
Yeah,
and a lot of them came. Credit unions really were formed out of agricultural cooperatives.
It's interesting that your first loan in Newry, the first loan in Newry was to Mr. and Mrs. Pollock, who wanted it to buy a cow.
That's right.
So you're talking agriculture.
Yes,
so
that's right.
they fed and fattened the cow,
Yes,
sold it, and then paid you back.
That's right. Yeah. And it's not the way it should be. It's great.
Just lovely.
It's brilliant.
You're in Zambia quite strong. I know this, and it's working there. Where my people are in northwest Nigeria, I actually believe it could happen. Father Donald's not so sure. He would be of the say there wouldn't be of a culture that would pay money back. That was said of Newry people by that bank manager. So I think you know, it could be a credit union beginning from. And your lad from Dublin is coming out with me to northwest Nigeria in February, and that's part of the reason he's going out to see what we've built, but also to see what we might be able to build in terms of credit union, because they're farmers, they're semi-nomadic farmers, they're growing crops. They take what they need to eat and to live, and then they bring the crops to market every Saturday. That generates money. So there is a pool of money and goods that could form a basis for credit union, which would be good.
It would be brilliant.
Yeah. Right, what's happening to you today for the rest of the day down there? Are you busy?
Oh, we're always very busy.
Indeed.
We've got a couple of meetings set up this morning, then we've got the credit committee will be meeting at 1 o'clock.
And that's again a group of voluntary people. The voluntary people come in, credit committee, see who's doing what and how it's all going, and that's...
Well, the credit committee today will be looking at the loan applications that members haven't been approved at the counter, so the vast majority of loans that we issue would be issued to the members at the counter, but if somebody's going to a new level of borrowing, or it's the first time that the borrowing goes to the credit committee, and then the credit committee will look and adjudicate on those. So.
I remember, it might have shocked you, but how long are you a general manager now? Remind me, roughly.
About 14 years.
Is it 14 years?
Yeah.
Is Joe gone?
Yeah. 14? Yeah.
That was Joe Hughes. Joe Hughes was the predecessor of this man, and his presence was huge, and you then came in, and I think one of the first loans we might have dealt with you, I came in and you said, Brendan, this is absolutely true, and you remember it. I said, Brendan, I need a loan. And you said to me, what do you want the loan for in your office? I said, I want to build a school in Africa. And you said, I said, I want 21,000. And you said, well,
I'll scrape me off the floor, that's it.
He said he'd need to go to the credit committee, which indeed he did. And you came back to me and said, Rowan, and I was crestfallen. He said, we can't give you the 21,000. I said, oh, sure, that's terrible. And then he said, but how's 15 sound to you? And that was the beginning of all the things that you've been seeing in our Africa documentary. Listen, go well. It's beautiful talking to you. And I'll be down later to put some money in, keep myself right.
Oh, you have to do that. Okay.
God bless you.
Thanks very much.
Take care.
All right. Cheers.
We'll have some money. Not some money. Have some music, dear boy.